Hyrie Kim stared at the endless red dust of Proxima 9, her breath ragged and painful. The battlefield around her was a graveyard of twisted metal and broken machinery, silent except for the occasional spark of dying electrical systems. Her legs were gone, completely obliterated by the unexpected human plasma burst that had torn through her advanced Krillian combat armor. Blood seeped from multiple wounds, mixing with the rust-colored sand beneath her. Her specialized warrior implants were flickering, warning systems blinking frantically before shutting down one by one. The sophisticated alien communication device on her wrist crackled with static, then went dead. She had been part of an elite reconnaissance mission, designed to map human resistance territories. The Krillian Empire considered humans a primitive species, predictable and technologically inferior. But today proved how wrong that assessment had been. The human attack had been precise, coordinated, and devastatingly effective. They had anticipated her squad's movement, used terrain to their advantage, and struck with a calculated precision that suggested something more than random resistance. Her entire unit, 12 of the most advanced warriors in the Krillian military, had been eliminated within minutes. Hierie's vision blurred. Her body was shutting down, internal systems failing from massive trauma. She had been trained for 1,000 combat scenarios, but nothing prepared her for this complete destruction. The pain was secondary now. Survival instinct was fading. In her final moments of consciousness, she remembered her training. Krillian warriors were taught never to show weakness, never to surrender. Death was preferable to capture. Yet here she was, broken and vulnerable, waiting for the inevitable. The sound of approaching vehicles made her try to move, but her damaged body responded sluggishly. Metal fragments from her destroyed armor were embedded in her remaining flesh, each movement bringing fresh waves of pain. Her breathing became more labored. Through the dust and smoke, she saw silhouettes approaching, human figures moving with calculated precision. Their technology was different from what intelligence reports had suggested, more advanced, more adaptive. Each movement suggested training, discipline. Hierie closed her eyes, expecting a final killing shot. The Krillian protocol was clear. If capture was imminent, warriors were to initiate self-destruction sequences. But her systems were too damaged. She was completely at the mercy of her enemies. The footsteps grew closer. Voices spoke in a language she partially understood, human communication, rapid and pragmatic. She could distinguish individual words: survivor, biomechanical, potential. Their tone wasn't aggressive. Something was different. Her last conscious thought was confusion. Humans were supposed to be brutal, vengeful. Yet these approaching figures moved with a deliberation that suggested something else entirely. Perhaps curiosity, or something more complex than pure combat strategy. As darkness consumed her perception, Hierie Kim, once a proud Krillian warrior, surrendered to uncertainty. The red dust of Proxima 9 continued to swirl, indifferent to the drama of survival and potential transformation unfolding on its surface. The last thing she heard before unconsciousness claimed her was a voice, calm, professional, speaking words that would change everything. Prepare emergency medical protocols. We have a live subject. Then silence consumed her, and the battlefield remained, a testament to a conflict far more nuanced than simple conquest. Would you like me to continue with the next part, or modify this section? Jae-Sung Park studied the alien warrior's biological scans with intense concentration. The medical bay was sterile, filled with soft blue light, and the quiet hum of advanced technology. Hierie Kim lay on a specialized treatment table, her remaining body systems barely functioning. Most military doctors would have recommended immediate termination. Alien combatants were typically considered security risks. But something about her intrigued Jae-Sung. Her physiological structure was complex with multiple redundant systems that humans could learn from. The medical team had stabilized her critical wounds. Where organic tissue had been destroyed, they would use cutting-edge cybernetic replacements. Each implant was carefully designed to integrate with her unique alien biology. a challenge that excited Jae-sung more than any previous medical project. Her alien metabolism was different, blood chemistry unusual, cellular regeneration patterns unlike anything in human medical records. She represented more than a patient. She was a potential scientific breakthrough. When she first regained consciousness, her reaction was predictable: confusion, fear, anger. The translation devices captured her fragmented words, threats of revenge, cultural programming about human inferiority. But Jae-sung noticed something beneath the aggression: surprise. Humans were not supposed to save enemies. Her entire cultural training suggested humans were brutal, quick to destroy anything unknown. Yet here she was, receiving advanced medical treatment from the very species she had been sent to eliminate. The prosthetic development team worked quietly. Each component was a marvel of engineering: carbon titanium composites that could withstand extreme environmental conditions, neural interface systems more advanced than standard military grade. They weren't just replacing her lost limbs. They were potentially creating something entirely new. Hyeree's body fought the integration process. Alien immune responses tried to reject the human technology. But Jae-sung's team had anticipated this. Specialized nanosuppression fields gradually convinced her biological systems to accept the cybernetic enhancements. 3 days after her arrival, subtle changes became apparent. Her breathing stabilized, cellular regeneration increased. The prosthetic connection points showed remarkable adaptive responses. She was transforming from a wounded warrior into something unprecedented. During her semi-conscious states, fragments of her memories surfaced: battlefield recordings, military training experiences, the complete dedication of a warrior culture that valued mission over individual survival. Jae-sung realized they weren't just healing a body, they were potentially changing a perspective. The research team documented everything: each neural connection, every cellular response. The potential implications for interspecies medical understanding were enormous. Hyeri had become more than a patient. She was now a living research subject. Slowly, her body began accepting the human technology. Neural pathways reconfigured. Cybernetic limb interfaces started responding. Where organic systems had failed, human engineering began to succeed. Jae-sung watched her final integration process with professional detachment, but something else flickered beneath his scientific exterior: curiosity, wonder. The possibility that this moment represented more than a medical procedure, perhaps the beginning of something larger. As advanced monitoring systems tracked her recovery, Hyeri Kim remained suspended between two worlds. No longer fully alien, not yet completely human. A bridge between species, created not through diplomatic negotiations, but through the precise, unemotional language of medical science. The medical bay continued its quiet humming. Outside, the larger conflict between species continued. But here, in this small, sterile space, something remarkable was happening. A transformation that might change everything. Would you like me to continue with the next part or modify this section? Hyeree's first steps were nothing like her expectations. Where she anticipated pain, she found precision. Where she expected weakness, she discovered strength beyond her imagination. The rehabilitation center stretched before her like a technological playground. Advanced holographic displays tracked every movement, every neural response. Her new prosthetic legs weren't just replacements, they were mechanical miracles that responded faster than her original biological limbs. Initial training sessions revealed shocking capabilities. She could jump 3 times her previous height. Her reaction times had increased by 287%. The carbon titanium composites absorbed impact that would have shattered normal human or alien bones. Jae-sung watched her progress with scientific fascination. Each movement was a dance between alien biology and human engineering. Her neural pathways were learning, adapting, transforming with unprecedented speed. The psychological evaluation team noted something interesting. Hyeri wasn't just adapting. Physically, her entire cognitive approach was changing. The rigid military programming of her original culture began to crack. revealing flexibility previously unexpected. During combat simulation exercises, she discovered her new capabilities, went beyond physical performance. The prosthetic systems included advanced tactical computation modules. Information processing happened simultaneously with physical movement, something her original body could never achieve. Her first full-speed test shocked everyone. She moved like liquid lightning, each step calculated, each movement a perfect combination of alien instinct and human technological precision. The observation team watched in silent amazement. Military researchers recognized immediately that she represented more than a medical success. She was a potential new model of warrior development, a hybrid that challenged every existing combat doctrine. The neural interfaces allowed her to communicate with technology in ways she never imagined. Weapon systems, communication networks, tactical databases all became extensions of her consciousness. The line between biological organism and machine blurred completely. Her original cultural training had considered technology as a tool. Now she understood technology as a living, breathing extension of herself. Each prosthetic component wasn't just an attachment. It was part of her identity. Psychological adaptation proved more complex than physical transformation. She struggled with her new perception of self. Was she still a Krillian warrior? Had she become something entirely new? The identity crisis became her most significant battle. The research team provided minimal psychological support, allowing her natural adaptive mechanisms to develop organically. They were more interested in observing her natural response than controlling her development. Weeks of training revealed unexpected side effects. Her body generated less heat than biological organisms. Her strength-to-weight ratio exceeded all previous medical predictions. She could process environmental data faster than most advanced computer systems. During one remarkable demonstration, she lifted equipment weighing 6 times her body mass without showing any physical strain. The observation team exchanged looks of pure astonishment. Her communication skills evolved simultaneously. The neural interfaces allowed her to process languages faster, understand complex communication patterns with unprecedented clarity. She was becoming more than a warrior. She was becoming a bridge between species. The Military Research Division began discussing her potential, not as a weapon, but as a potential diplomatic tool. Her unique position, neither fully alien nor completely human, made her something extraordinary. Hieri understood something fundamental was happening. She wasn't just recovering. She wasn't just being repaired. She was being reborn. The technological rebirth wasn't just about replacing lost body parts. It was about reimagining what a living organism could become when biological limitations were removed. As evening lights flickered across the rehabilitation center, Hieri stood perfectly still. Her new prosthetic legs hummed with potential energy. She was ready for whatever came next. The transformation was complete. She was no longer just a warrior. She was a revolution. Would you like me to continue with the next part or modify this section? The communication burst came unexpectedly. Encrypted Krillian military signals searching, hunting. Hieri recognized the transmission patterns immediately. Her former commanders were tracking her signal, preparing a retrieval or elimination protocol, standard procedure for warriors who might compromise mission integrity. The research facility suddenly felt different. Every corridor, every technological interface became a potential threat. Her enhanced perception caught minute details, subtle changes in staff movement, slight alterations in communication patterns. Jae-sung discovered the incoming threat first. Alien tracking signatures were penetrating Earth's defensive perimeters. They weren't just sending a recovery team. They were preparing a full-scale elimination mission. Hieri's neural interfaces processed the potential scenarios with mathematical precision. Her old culture demanded absolute loyalty. Surrender or death were the only acceptable outcomes for a captured warrior. But something had fundamentally changed within her. The humans who saved her weren't enemies anymore. They were architects of her rebirth. Each technological enhancement, each careful medical intervention represented a form of respect she had never experienced in her original culture. Her Krillian commanders would dissect her, study her new technological components, and then terminate her existence. They viewed her modified body as a contamination, a betrayal of pure biological warrior principles. During a critical moment, she made her choice. When the tracking signals became stronger, she didn't hide. She prepared. The facility's defensive systems integrated with her prosthetic capabilities. Her neural interfaces could now communicate directly with human technological networks, a capability her original designers never anticipated. Krillian assault ships entered Earth's orbital zone, sleek, deadly, designed for surgical elimination missions. They carried specialized warrior units trained to neutralize any potential biological or technological anomalies. HFY understood their approach patterns. She had trained similar units during her original military service. Each movement, each tactical approach was predictable to her enhanced cognitive systems. Her communication with human military strategists became seamless. She provided insider knowledge about Krillian assault protocols, weapon system limitations, and communication encryption methods. Her value had transformed from a potential threat to a critical strategic asset. The first wave of Krillian assault pods entered the atmosphere. Advanced stealth technology made them nearly invisible to standard tracking systems. But not to HFY. Her modified perceptual abilities could detect microscopic energy signatures. She became the primary tactical coordinator. Her hybrid status, part alien, part human technological marvel, allowed her to predict and counter her former culture's most advanced military strategies. Military commanders watched in amazement. A warrior who was supposed to be their enemy had become their most powerful defensive asset. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. When the first assault wave reached ground level, HFY was ready. Her prosthetic systems integrated with human defensive networks. Each movement was a calculated dance of technological precision. The Krillian assault teams expected a standard defensive response. Instead, they encountered a hybrid warrior who understood their every tactical approach. Their most advanced strategies became predictable, almost childlike in their simplicity. Jae-sung watched the tactical displays, recognizing that they were witnessing something unprecedented. A technological and cultural transformation happening, in real time. Hours of intense conflict resolved quickly. The Krillian assault was neutralized with minimal human casualties. And at the center of this remarkable defense stood HFY, no longer just a saved warrior but a true defender of her new home. Her choice wasn't just about survival. It was about understanding, about evolution, about becoming something greater than her original programming could have ever imagined. As dust settled and emergency systems stabilized, HFY stood perfectly balanced. Her prosthetic legs hummed with potential energy. She had crossed a line from which there was no return. She was home, finally. Would you like me to continue with the final part, or modify this section? The final mission arrived like a symphony of complicated possibilities. HFY understood this wasn't just another battle. This was her moment of absolute transformation. Earth's military leadership recognized her unique capabilities. She wasn't just a soldier anymore. She was a bridge between species, a living weapon of strategic intelligence and diplomatic potential. The conflict zone stretched across 3 planetary systems. Krillian expansion had been relentless, consuming smaller civilizations without mercy. Human resistance forces had been losing ground consistently, but HFY represented something different, a tactical solution beyond traditional military thinking. Her prosthetic systems could interface with multiple technological networks simultaneously. Where human strategists saw challenges, she saw intricate patterns of possibility. Each movement, each tactical decision became a complex mathematical equation solved in milliseconds. The mission objective was simple, yet impossible. Penetrate the central Krillian command structure and disrupt their primary communication networks. Previous human attempts had resulted in complete destruction of reconnaissance teams. HFY's hybrid status gave her unprecedented advantages. Her original biological memories combined with human technological enhancements created a strategic profile impossible to predict or counter. Training sessions revealed her extraordinary capabilities. She could process multiple threat scenarios simultaneously. Her reaction times exceeded any known biological or mechanical system. The research team watched in silent amazement. When the mission launched, everything changed. Her neural interfaces connected with advanced human tactical systems. Information flowed like liquid electricity, transforming potential into immediate action. The first defensive line collapsed within minutes. Krillian commanders couldn't understand how their most advanced protection systems were being systematically dismantled. Their tactical algorithms became useless against her hybrid approach. Jae-sung monitored her progress from the central command center. What started as a medical experiment had transformed into something remarkable, a living example of technological and biological evolution. Her movements were poetry, precision mixed with unexpected creativity. She wasn't just following strategic protocols, she was rewriting them in real time. Each decision challenged every existing military doctrine. The central Krillian communication hub represented their most protected asset. Generations of technological development had created a system considered impenetrable, but Hyeri saw it differently. Her prosthetic systems began a complex infiltration process, neural interfaces dancing across encrypted channels, breaking through firewalls that had stopped every previous attempt. She was becoming more than a warrior. She was a living technological weapon. Hours of intense conflict resolved in a sequence of calculated movements. The Krillian command structure didn't just break, it disintegrated. Their most advanced defensive mirror systems became vulnerable under her hybrid approach. Military historians would later describe this moment as a turning point in interstellar conflict. One hybrid warrior had accomplished what entire fleets could not. When the mission concluded, Hyeri stood in the silent aftermath. Her prosthetic systems hummed with residual energy. She had transformed from a defeated warrior to a species-changing phenomenon. The human military leadership recognized her true value. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a living diplomatic instrument, a bridge between civilizations that had previously considered each other irreconcilable enemies. Her journey, from a broken warrior on Proxima 9 to this moment of triumph, represented more than a personal transformation. It symbolized the potential of adaptation, of looking beyond cultural limitations. As recovery teams assessed the mission's impact, Hyeri remained perfectly balanced. Her new body, part biological, part technological, represented humanity's most remarkable achievement. She had found her purpose, not as a Krillian warrior, not as a human soldier, but as something entirely new. A bridge, a hope, a future. Would you like me to make any modifications or provide additional details about this final part?